Welcome back to the channel, everyone. So this is episode 3, and today we're going to be talking about why we van life. Sound like a verb? Sound
Why
like
van life?
Okay, we're van lifing. It's a verb now. So why do we van life? Well, I don't think there's one specific reason.
This is basically a video we decided to do because a lot of people ask us, why do you live in a van? Like, basically, why suffer while you can like rent for like $2,000 a month a small place? That's basically what I read out of that question. So we decided we're going to share with you. We have 8 reasons we came up with on why we van life and why we're still van lifing after 8 months.
I think it's longer now.
Maybe 9 months now.
I don't know.
Whatever it is. And how we are planning on doing it in the future as well.
Yeah.
We are Zach and MP, traveling with Jasper and Sidney, our 2 dogs, aboard Roadie, our self-converted ProMaster van. After purchasing our van only a few weeks before the pandemic, we spent the better part of that summer converting it into our beautiful full-time home. Every 2 weeks, we will share with you what we learned while being Vanlifers in hope to inspire you and others to try this amazing lifestyle.
If there's anything we learned is that it is possible to have 2 humans working full-time with 2 dogs in our 86 square foot home, and we will share with you how we got there.
Adventure!
Yeah, cut that one right out of my, don't you? So I think the first reason why we van life is the same reason why we started van lifing, and that is the adventure. And like seeing new places, going out exploring, having the trail literally at the doorstep now. Adventure
actually means way more than that. It means that you're just like, it's like an unknown. It's like an adventure. We actually don't know how our day is going to go. Well, we have an idea, but we don't always know how everything's planned.
Sure.
We don't know where we're going to meet. So every day is an adventure, and living without a permanent house or permanent address is an adventure in itself.
Well, it's kind of funny. It's like some days we finish work and one of the questions we ask is, well, where are we going to go now? Yeah. What are we going to go do? Yeah.
And for us, I think the sense of adventure kind of comes to exploring new places and being ready to go. We can always just like, let's go biking. Okay, let's go hiking. Let's go running. Or let's take the dog to this like crazy lake. So yeah, adventure is definitely one of our top reasons why we're in a van, and we love it. Reducing your footprint is definitely something that we are pretty passionate about, trying to limit our waste, trying to limit our impact on the planet. And arguably, I think some people disagree with this, that living in a van is actually a smaller footprint. We do burn gas. We do use diesel as well for a heater. But in the end, we consider ourselves living fairly small. We don't use land the same way. We actually, we don't own a backyard. We don't take care of a front yard, backyard. So every place we go becomes our front yard or backyard for the day. And we tend to buy less. We are very conscious of what we have in the van, and
even our water consumption. Like we go through way less water than when we lived in a house. And yes, we do shower, and yes, we do brush our teeth every day, but it's that we're aware on how long we run that tap, and we're really aware on like when we dispose of our water and when we fill up. So
and that's definitely one way that I can speak with my values of trying to not destroy our planet. And yeah, I think it feels right to us. One thing that came out of living in a van, and of course we knew that was probably going to happen, but I didn't realize the impact it would have on both of us, is realigning our priorities. So when you live in a house or when you live in a city and you're really busy and you buy a lot of stuff, and it's like a very hectic world, and I think you can get lost in trying to figure out what's important for you. And the van has sort of like simplified our life to a point where we understand a little bit more what really is important to us, and something that, some of those are things that keep us in the van life, but like meaningful relationship, friendships, and like minimalist lifestyle and stop buying stuff because it's on sale and things like that. Like, we've started to really prioritize what actually is important and what actually we will remember. We're not going to remember this, like, maybe we will, but like this nice couch that we had in our apartment. But we will remember all the things we did with the van. So it's sort of like a shift on how we used to.
We're trading consumerism for experiences in some ways.
Yeah, in some ways. Yeah, and the van itself is a thing, and we are filling it with things we love, but you're so limited that it challenges you to look for, like, outside of that. Your priorities will shift when you move into a van, and you'll start to really care about the things that you really want to care about, and I think that's something I didn't expect, and I'm really grateful for.
One of the things that did lead us into going into van life and staying in it is to save money. No, we're not saving money per se.
Okay, maybe not.
But what we're doing is we feel like we're investing our money. We're not giving a landlord $2,000 a month or more in rent to never see that again. Yeah. We know that this van is an investment to us. We know that we're going to get a lot of it back if we decide to sell it, or most of it back. And yeah, I think the whole concept with van life is we aren't throwing money out the window.
But we do also save money by just buying less and doing things outside. I sort of knew it was going to be part of van life, but I didn't really realize how much, like sometimes I look at my bank account and I'm like, wow, okay. Didn't know these numbers could be in my bank account.
Not big numbers, but there's number in there now.
Slowly. Anyways, so if you live in BC, you understand.
Yeah.
In Toronto or every other
expensive
city center,
cities,
that's
and
like very expensive. Yeah. Probably San Francisco, I think it's similar.
Oh.
But, yeah. Challenge. And that's a generic
challenge.
So of course moving into a van is challenging. It's a challenge. So, people like to have challenges. Actually, challenge is what makes you go for it in life often. So this is a challenge that we pick. We pick to see if we could live in a van with 2 dogs and travel a little bit, work from it, make new friends, change our lifestyle radically. And every challenge, of course, like the word challenge means like potential trouble. I swear. It means that things are not always going to go as planned.
And van life never goes to plan.
Never goes as planned. I mean, no, it does sometimes. But what I mean is it's full of surprises, and I think that's how you grow as a person, and that's how you grow as a couple, or that's how you grow as a pack of 4 with 2 humans and 2 dogs. But yeah, it's like, I think if you're looking for a challenge, I think van life is a very doable one. And if you're doing it to help to find things about yourself, I think it will do that for sure.
Yeah.
Like, if there's anything I find I'm way better at going with the flow, and I'm working on how I'm responding to bad events. Some things don't go as planned. It's all about how you respond to it. If you decide it's going to ruin your day, it's going to ruin your day. So a lot of it is like trying to like work on that. Like, okay, this sucks. Now, like, the only thing I can control is how I react.
It's learning to roll with the punches a bit more, because the thing happens in van life, and it just happens with living on the road or exploring, is that you may plan a day and the next thing you know, your water explodes and it's leaking oil all over the place.
But there's great things. We also obviously focus on the negative right now, but there's lots of great things that come out of those negative. Like, you'll meet someone that's going to help you. You meet people along the way and they help you through your struggles, and it all kind of probably ends in not a challenge. You're like, oh, this was just like the best part of my life. Community.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is something that I don't think either of us expected to be a thing. Like, we knew it was going to be a thing, but to the extent... We knew there was a van life community, but holy big community. And welcoming.
It's like welcoming. You meet tons of people. Everyone, I would say everyone. I'm willing to say everyone is a pleasant experience. Mm-hmm. It's crazy how living in a vehicle is it's like this strong glue between friendship. If they live in the vehicle as well, you're like, yeah, we're best friends. I don't even care what you do on the weekends. We share this lifestyle and therefore we should be friends. And that community is helpful. It's available. It's like willing to learn and willing to like listen. There's no one too weird or no one too not weird. Like it's amazing. It's definitely the best thing that I've experienced. It makes the one thing that does make it hard with all the great people you meet is like you do say goodbyes a lot.
Oh yeah.
And then they move on to a new chapter, and you may not see them for like a year or two, or I don't know. There's people we met on our first trip that we're still in touch, but we can't wait to see them again.
Part of this is like part of the van life is that we're nomadic to an extent. Everyone is in their own way, and we will meet people, and sometimes we will only see them for 2 weeks or 1 week.
Connection to nature. This one's a bit less straightforward, but in a way we found we were a bit more connected to our surroundings and more grounded by just being outside a lot of the time. Like in the winter, we noticed the sun changes, we get less solar, and we started like getting to know what mushrooms grow and what season, and like berry picking and things like that just makes sense when you're like, you can be anywhere, you can move your home, and you're often find yourself on the trails. Or if it gets like a polar vortex comes, we have to like plan for it. You're way more exposed to the elements, and I think it almost brings a certain like closer to being more like wild, like what animals have to deal with. We sort of like have to do the same thing because we don't have the same on the grid like support, like electricity.
We kind of live outside. Like we
that's
have
what I mean.
Van, we have a living space, but we spend so much time just outside.
We sort of understand a little bit more of like what it means to not be connected to the grid.
We didn't know that this was something that we thought was going to be a reason why.
Definitely did not expect.
I think even though like when we lived through van life in the winter, that's what made us realize the connection, because we were even watching where the sun was rising because of COVID, we were way more we were in one spot, and we found this like perfect parking spot because the sun set between these two mountains. We actually had a little bit more daylight, so yeah,
you get to know things you don't think you would ever notice before. Yeah, freedom. That one's big. I think that's what probably most people would say it's their number one. It's definitely pretty close to being your number one. The ability of being able to be anywhere, whenever, and we get so much out of that freedom. Like we get to experience what living in different cities and provinces can mean, or eventually countries when we can go. We can leave the country, but yeah, it's like you almost get a sense of like what it would mean if I was part of this community and live here.
We bring our home with us.
Yeah.
Right? We're not geographically tied anywhere. We're geographically free.
It's a sense of freedom to be able to just like we don't even drop anything. We just like grab everything and
take the dishes off the counter and throw them in the sink.
So yeah, it opens up to a world of opportunities, and it makes us like basically explore our country and beyond.
Like I guess freedom, exploration, a lot of the stuff we talked about kind of,
I think almost like
they kind of touch each other in
all
their own way.
The reasons we have of why we're doing van life sort of come down to a part of freedom. So I would say it's almost we hope you enjoyed this video on why we van life and the things we didn't expect that would have come out of living in a van. It's a lot of fun, and we wish everyone could experience what we experience. So yeah, if there's anything we said that you think is right on point or way off, if you just want to say something, you can say something in the comments below. We will read you, and we will try to
we'll respond.
See if we can answer. Don't forget to subscribe, because we will be posting videos. We will try to do every week from now on, but we are guaranteeing every 2 weeks. Depending on what we're up to. So
we'll probably see you next week.
Yeah. Stay posted. Bye.